Hey friends, good day. I want to talk to you a little bit right now about time it takes to fabricate, modify, fit in, tweak, and make pieces fit that are aftermarket parts for these vehicles that you hire me to restore or you undertake to restore yourself. It takes a while to do this. Part of the reason that I'm making this video is because I'll be just blunt. A customer of mine basically accused me, and I don't find fault in this at all. I don't find fault in them. This is a very common misconception that people have about this type of work and how long the perception is that it should take. And then, of course, the other side of that coin is how much it actually costs. So all those are factors. They all matter. They are valid arguments. They are valid concerns. But it's always something that it's never worth getting upset about. And I'm not upset. And I just want to take the time to express and share with you things that I have learned based on experience and based on actually doing it, which is experience. You know, the knowing of this kind of work. So let me just turn the camera around and I'll talk about it here on this 63 Chevrolet C10 cab. Here we go. What we have here is a yet to be installed outer rocker panel on this Chevrolet truck. Getting this rocker panel to fit on right here is many hours of work. Here is the said rocker panel, already done with the slight cuts, modified cuts in these curved areas, these stamping areas. Turn the fan down so it's a little less noisy. These curved stamping areas don't always match up to the contours of the vehicle itself. So what has to be done is right here where I'm pointing. Often a craftsman has to slice and dice to get that rocker panel so it fits with no stress in it, no tweaking. You want it to go on and off like a puzzle piece, to go on and fit nicely, tightly, with no gaps, consistent from the back to the front, from the top to the bottom. This is all basic stuff that I learned in metal shop when I was in high school and in the United States Army, being instructed by, in high school, Mr. Adams, and in the United States Army by Staff Sergeant Billups. These guys really took the time to teach us and tell us and expound to us details matter. A lot of this work is, as I have said earlier, is very front loaded. You do the work, a lot of it, and then you put the piece on, and putting the piece on is what doesn't take much time at all. But getting it to that point always is time consuming. So in here, I made one slice, two slices, three slices right there, and realigned 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of metal. This side was a little bit more. I made one cut here, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts, and then cut these pieces off and re-welded them on so they fit nicely inside here. This is what takes time. Little things like this. Put in this spacer. This little coupon I put in here to weld up straight against that right there, that section at the end of my magnetic pointer or magnetic pickup tool right there. Sure, I could have smashed it in, I could have pounded it in and welded it in, but when you do that, you tweak things. Things get slightly out of whack. So my goal is I always put on pieces with no stress in it, with no twists, no things that can put stress on the other piece, so eventually over time it works its way loose, breaks the welds, etc., etc. Because metal has force in it. You got to go ahead and relieve the stress in it or induce stress in it and then relieve it. So all these things matter. They really do. So this is now ready to go on. This black stuff is the rubberized undercoating. I don't put it on the top because that's where we weld, nor do I put it right here on the bottom because that's where it gets welded. On the inside, this white is a final paint. So yes, the inside of this is painted. It's got primer on it, sealer, and now this paint on the inside. I did the same thing here on this rocker. So it takes many, many hours to do this, to get this to fit in correctly. So the perception might be that, oh, you didn't get anything done. You have 20 hours in and nothing got done. Well, I understand that perception, but that is not always the truth. Now, there are people out there that do those kind of things. They like to cut corners, and I found that it's the shops that get bigger and bigger and bigger are the ones that cut corners, and they have problems. Not all, but some. And they can't get good people. They can't get good workers. So sometimes you just have to stay small and do good work. At least that's what I'm trying to do. So it does take time to do this sort of work. It takes a lot of time. But when the time is up, let me just try to grab this, fit it in place while the camera is going. Oop, give me a moment to turn it around. Sorry for my production quality here that is sort of subpar. You can see on the bottom it lines up. You can see right here it falls into place. You can see right there in those holes where I'm going to plug weld. I put some screws in there to pull that down tighter. And you can see right here how that's all nice. And then right here, the gap at the end of the rocker, oh, something's going on with the camera. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the light that's making it weird. No, it's not. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I was getting some feedback on the screen on the phone that looked like it was having some mechanical or electronic issues and problems, which I wasn't able to solve other than shutting it down. So anyways, here it is. Now what I'm going to do is screw this on, screw it down, clamp it in place, grind down these external welds, and then plug weld it and get it on there. Okay, so that is that. Some people may be going, what about the doors? Well, the doors are here, but the doors also need a lot of work. But I was able to establish right at the very beginning the I'm going to show you because the door gap is something that you got to consider. You have to remember that. You have to account for that. Doctrinally, I did not allow these frame spars to change their position. Before I removed the old floor, I tied in those hoops. As you recall, I tied in the hoops to isolate each one of these 4 frame corners before I relieved it and took all the old metal off. So there would be no movement or mitigate the movement from the cab corner relationship to the floor and these frame spars. So these did not move. So that means when you put the new floor in, if I can get the thing to stay, sorry about that. Let's see here. Come on. It's always fun doing this one-handed. Anyway, so as I was saying, the frame spars did not move. So when I put the floor in, butt welded the floor into the existing good parts of the floor, the original floor I should say, the new floor laid down nicely on the frame spars, here and over in that corner. So that's pretty much guaranteeing minimal adjustments in the doors or the gaps from the bottom of the door. You got to remember, this can be a big problem for people when you do this kind of work. Put the rocker on, and then the door doesn't fit on properly. So if there's any adjustment that is needed, I'm going to take it out of the doors, not out of the rockers, not out of the floor, because the A-pillar didn't move, nor did the B-pillar move. But the bottom of the A-pillar and the bottom of the B-pillar, of course, did move because they were removed. The parts were junk, but I did tie it in with some external brackets that kept them in check. So if you think ahead a little bit like that, you can probably have some success, or at least improve your chances of success. And that's what I try to do. And it all takes time. But when this is done, this will be perfect. You can already see this gap here. It's very nice. Okay? It looks good. We don't have the gap in the front because we don't have any fenders. We don't have the frame that the truck goes on. So this is a big deal. Getting the floors in, getting the rockers in. It's a foundation. I have to do this first before I do the roof. So tomorrow I'm going to work on this part right here, and of course this rear cab corner. So it does take some time. It's not a body shop where a collision shop, I should say, where you come in and it takes X amount of hours by the book to put it together. I do not operate that way, nor do any of my peers. Everything here is open-ended. I wish it wasn't that way, I really do, but these cars would never be fixed by these body shops out there because they won't do it. They won't touch it. They lose their butt in restorations, which I now am feeling. So this is why I'm really stepping back from doing this kind of work for customers, because it's just too much money. I understand it, I really do, but it's very expensive. So I'm going to go back doing my only media blasting, pretty much, and doing my own personal projects, this kind of work. As far as doing it for other people, probably not. It's probably not gonna happen. This is probably gonna be the last one because it just takes too much time. You people out there bitch too much because you just may not know the full associated time and the costs that time equals. So it is what it is. Peace out, everybody. Be good. It's going to be very hot this week, so drink lots of water, Stay safe. Look out for one another. See you later. Bye-bye.